the first one, the major one, is the product rule. So essentially when you have the same base, x and the exponents are different, m and n, what you're going to do is you're going to add them together. So as an example, x cubed times x to the power of 4th, you're going to add the 3 and the 4 together, so you get x 7th. Okay, if you have a negative exponent, you just subtract it. All right, done. Next is the quotient rule. So when you have the same base, x to the m divided by x to the n, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to the numerator and make it negative. So it becomes, if we're going to subtract them, so x m minus n. So in the same, as an example, x to the 5th divided by x cubed. So this comes to the numerator and gets subtracted. So it becomes x 5 minus 3. So that's x squared. Okay, so if the denominator has a larger exponent, you're going to keep that positive. So you're going to take the numerator, bring it to the denominator, and that makes it negative. So it's subtracted there. All right. Okay, so the power of a power rule. Here you have a parentheses. So you have x to the power of m in a parentheses, and there's n on the outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the exponents. Okay, so x to the 5th, and there's a parentheses to the power of 3. So that's 5 times 3 is 15. So it's going to be x to the power of 15, and so on and so forth. Okay, the power of a product rule. So if you have different bases inside a parentheses, and you have an exponent, a same exponent, that is going to get distributed, okay, into both of these x and y's. So let's take an example here. You have 3 times 7, the whole cube. The 3 gets, exponents get distributed to each of those terms. So it's 3 cubed times 7 cubed. All right, very good. So power of quotient, same as before, except this is a division now. So what we're going to do, we have a different basis, but we have the same exponents that's going to get distributed into the x and into the y. Let's take an example, x divided by y to the power of 4. So the 4 gets distributed to the x and to the y. So x 4th divided by y 4th. The zero power rule is anything to the power of 0 is 1. So z to the power of 0 is 1. 10,000 to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, so negative exponent. When you have a negative exponent, as we discussed before, we're going to take that and send it to the denominator. So x to the minus 1 becomes 1 over x to the mth. X to the power of minus 2 becomes 1 divided by x to the power of 2. And finally, fractional exponents, we have x m by n. So remember, the denominator always becomes the index of the radical. Okay, so the n here is the index of the radical. The m, of course, stays in the numerator right here. So let's take an example, x to the power of 2 third. So the 3 is in the denominator, goes into the index of the radical. So it's a cube root now, and the squared is in the numerator, so it becomes x squared. So x squared cube root of that. All right.